Good. Richard Clark and Sims are up there with him, but he doesn't need them. It is a glorious goal.
Right, everybody, welcome back to another video on the channel. This is my match preview for Sunderland versus Birmingham at the Stadium of Light on a Saturday, 3 o'clock kick-off. Me and Stephen will be at the statue. If you want to come and get on the channel, come out. Score predictions from the last game who predicted Sunderland to beat Cardiff 1-0. There was 3 people who got it right. Liam W, the Bristolian Mackham, and Ian Curry. Congratulations, GS3. But before I get on with the rest of the preview, hit the thumbs up and subscribe if you're brand new to the channel. Right, Birmingham, they're sitting 17th in the league. They've got 50 points. They're not going to get relegated and they're not going to get the playoffs. So, you know, I think the season's sort of fizzling out for them now, in my opinion. Obviously, they'll want to get high up the table as they possibly can. But there's more to play for Sunderland. Yes, we have a massive, massive outside chance of getting the playoffs. All you've got to do is beat the team that's put in front of you. Yes, we'll be playing with a little bit more pressure, especially from the Sunderland fans and anywhere. And Birmingham, it's like, it's sort of, there's no pressure on them. They're playing with freedom, so it could be an intense game, especially for the supporters. Birmingham, a decent form, to be honest. They've won 2 and drew 2 and then lost 1 in the last 5. They drew with Stoke and they also drew with Reading. The victories came... A decent victory as well, a 1-0 win against Blackburn, who are in the top 6. So that's a decent result. Khedira getting on the score sheet for them. I rate Khedira. I think he's a really good player. And then they did beat free-falling QPR as well. Chong, I think, got the only goal in that game. But QPR are dropping like a lead balloon. And I think they could go down, personally. And anyway, back on to Birmingham. The defeat came at Watford. They got beat 3-0 and they were 2-0 down within 15 minutes. But like I say, after that defeat, they've went on to some decent form and unbeaten in the last 4 games, coming into the game against Sunderland on Saturday. Players I'm going to mention to watch before then we'll get into talking about our last game when we played these. Scott Hogan, he scored 10 goals, which is equal to his best last season as well, because he got 10 last season. And he's always a threat. He was in the starting 11 when we played them last time. And also Troy Deeney, the massively experienced Troy Deeney, a bit of a veteran, like 35-year-old. He's been about, well, he hasn't been about, he's at Watford most of his career, Walsall before that, and then he's obviously went to Birmingham. And, you know, he's always a threat. He's got 7 goals this season for Birmingham up to now. And then a player I'm going to mention, simply because when we played him, he hasn't scored that many goals. It's Hannibal. He was an absolute living nightmare when we played him. He could have easily got himself sent off. I remember him getting a yellow card in that game. But he was a nightmare. He was just very physical, sometimes too much. And he was like a handful. And he is a decent player on his day. Then you've got a few players on 4 goals. You've got Chong, Lucas. I'm not even going to try and pronounce his second name. I didn't want to offend anybody. Then you've got Trusty and Khedira, who are also on 4 goals this season. The last time we played Birmingham, it was a 2-1 win to Sunderland. Birmingham had the majority of the ball. I think the goals came at a crucial time for Sunderland in that game. It was, I think, starting out of the traps. Birmingham were coming out as Troy Deeney had a really good chance early on. And then we went on to score, settled the game down a little bit. And then in the second half, we scored just after the half. And I think that sort of, I wouldn't say it so much killed the game for Birmingham, but you know what happens when you concede a goal straight after the half. They're always going to find it harder to get back into the game. And it was an absolute belter of a strike by Ahmad. Just curling round the keeper, I remember it. It was an amazing goal. But they did get a consolation goal later on in the game, but I think Sunderland just seeing the game out easy. Obviously, Alison got on the score sheet that day as well. And it was I remember it being a close game. I was out with the moon that we did get the 3 points down at their place. Stephen went there that day as well, I remember. But like I was saying, on Saturday, we're playing for different reasons. I think Birmingham want to be further up the table. Didn't get us wrong, they're not going to go down. And I don't think they're going to, obviously, they're not going to get the playoffs starting on 50 points. They'd have to win every single game, and obviously a bit of a catastrophe from the majority. But like I say, they're playing with a little bit of freedom. There's no pressure on them now. They're not gone down, in my opinion. And like I say, Sunderland are playing with, I would say there's a little bit of pressure there because there's a few, I wouldn't say so much expecting us to get the playoffs or wanting us, they're just wanting it. There's that little bit of hope. And like you said, it's the hope that kills you in the end. So if we can win all of our games, that's all the lads can do is win the team that's put in front of you. And obviously Birmingham, I still think it's going to be a hard game. You've got Kadira there, who I think is a really good player. Hannibal, Chong, Deeney, like the ones who I've mentioned, and there'll be a few other there unsung heroes amongst the team, maybe in defence who I haven't mentioned, apologies. So it is going to be a hard game. Every game in this league is a hard game for us. But our lads have put it in decent performances against the best teams in this league. So I'll wait till I give you my score prediction. But now I'm going to move on to Sunderland. So I'm going to start with positivity. The lads are unbeaten in the last 4 games. And in the last game, we beat Cardiff 1-0, keeping a clean sheet in the process. The Cardiff game was pleasing for me simply because I wouldn't say it so much it was a coming of age, but the lads learned from the whole game. It was much better in-game management from the players and Tony Mowbray. Mowbray's lineup had me scratching my head, but it was clear to say that obviously with games coming thick and fast that it was just simply squad rotation, and he made 4 changes for the Cardiff game. He didn't want to risk any other players picking up any injuries at this vital time of the season for Sunderland. Few Sunderland players I want to talk about in the Cardiff game, and was Ekwers being one of them. He got his first start under Mowbray, and it was a surprise for few simply because he obviously gave away a penalty against Hull. But that was just inexperience of how much little game time he's had and how young he is. But nonetheless, he started against Cardiff, and for me, he was really good. He didn't overcomplicate things. He just made the simple pass, and I seen a stat that I'm not sure if it's true or not, but he had 97% accurate pass rate, and that was outstanding considering the way he came on against Hull. I thought he looked nervy when he came on against Hull. He did concede possession a couple of times, and he obviously gave away the penalty. And he wasn't, when he was trying to link up with Dan Naylor, there was just no communication between them. But against Cardiff, it was a totally different game. They both struck up a good partnership. Ekwers being in the team allowed Dan Naylor that little bit of freedom to get forward, and I thought Dan Naylor had an improved game as well. He was getting forward. He was trying to make that forward pass instead of the sideways or backwards. He was looking to get forward a lot more than he did against Hull. So all round it was an improved game. Like I said before, it's not so much a coming of age, but it was vastly improved. Much more an experience display, if you know what I mean. It was better in-game management by the players and Mowbray. They kept bringing the ball down the channel. I thought Ahmad was through on goal for Mac to make the second goal, and obviously something must have clicked in his head, and he thought no, and he took it down the to the corner flag. But I know that occasion it was given as offside, but Ahmad didn't know that at the time, and he just took the ball along. Gooch was digging it. All of them were digging it. All of them were wasting time when it was coming to the end of the game, and it was crucial really because Cardiff were on top for the last 10 minutes, and they were trying to toss the kitchen sink at us. But the lads showed a bit more knowledge than they did in the game against Hull. And the like I said, it was in-game management and Mowbray substitutes. I was thinking, wow, he's taking Pritchard off. I thought Pritchard had an outstanding game. Obviously, it was his free kick what led to Cirkin's goal. But there you go, Cirkin as well. At a time, I figured for Cirkin because of how long he's been out with concussion. Obviously, it's meant to be like 10 days or something, but he was out for absolute weeks. And anyway, I was so pleased for him to get him on the score sheet. Obviously, you got to be man on the spot and put it in after the rebound. But like you say, it just shows you the learning, because when that free kick comes in, Cirkin makes a dart for it to get to there first. Instead of just ball watching it, he makes a move. And he's the man who puts it in. So they're all learning. These are very, very young players. And like I keep saying in numerous videos and live streams, the learning curve is like that. And they're improving time and time again. Like I say, come next season, good recoupment, players back from injury. And these lads with a full season under the belt. This is the first full season in most of the lads' careers. And a full season under the belt now with experience in the Championship. They're going to be much better on next season. I thought Clark was outstanding as well. I think I gave him my man of the match. I'm sure I did, or it might have been Hull. I'm not sure, but he was outstanding. He's getting better and better as well, Clark. I've noticed he's starting to put a ball in the box, which me and Stephen, that's the only one little critique we've got of Jack Clark's performances. It's just put a ball in the box every now and again. You didn't have to beat the man all the time, and he's starting to do that more and more. and I'm just really enjoying watching Clark play. I think he's a quality player. I've seen Ahmad as well on TikTok, of all places, sort of saying that he'll not be back at Sunderland. A young Sunderland supporter tweeted, like, I would love you to come back and that, and he put like a sad face as if to say, I don't know, I took it as if he's not coming back, which it's understandable. He wants to try and crack on with Manchester United, where he came from, and obviously he's got strong ties to that club, so he wants to make a career there, which is understandable. So the lads put in an experienced performance against Cardiff. They showed that they are learning. Remember this, they're very young, the learning curve's steep, and they are attacking things on board. They're not gone on like they did against Hull. Like, if we just sat back and wasted time, we would have won that game. Obviously, Jack Clark could have made it 5-2. But nonetheless, the lads have shown that they're improving game by game. And for me, that I'm really impressed by their performance against Cardiff. Score prediction for Birmingham. I'm going to go for a Sunderland 2-1 win. That's my score prediction. I think Jack Clark's going to get on the score sheet. So will Roberts. You heard it here first. Didn't copy of Stephen when Stephen does his video because he's still on his holidays. But you're best off because he probably gets them all right. And anyway, that's it for me. Hit the thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next video.